And that's what that second line is there. However, the third line, the third bullet is, this is my philosophy of school budgeting right here in a nutshell. The budget is a reflection of the values and the priorities of your community. If you value sports, you're going to have a big sports budget. If you value teachers, you're going to have a budget that is top heavy in the salary lines to hire bodies. If you value technology, you're going to have a big line for technology. And what's the role of the superintendent? Ultimately, because we're all unit control districts, the role of the superintendent is to help balance those out so that you can present something that reflects the values of the community, all the values of the community. Now, that's only going to be into effect, again, for the next couple of years, because by the time the salary caps for superintendents fully kick in 4 years from now, when all the other contracts run out, there's going to be no superintendents left anyway. Because as you can see from the state, they're going to get rid of them at the county level. They're working to get rid of them here. And they don't even talk about superintendents anymore per se. They talk about principals. So principals, you're in a catbird season. And if I were you, I'd start to learn about some of this other stuff, because pretty soon you're going to do it all. Because I know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to work on my golf game until my contract runs out. I'm going to call my Jordan and say, it's time for you to learn how to play golf, buddy. Let's go. No, I'll never do that, but I mean, if you want to get cynical about it. Again, a budget's a plan, it's not an absolute. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. When you do your budget, you have to make sure that there's a good relationship with the school business official, et cetera, because a lot of school business officials are still of the mindset, I have to hide the money. However, if you are on a 2% cap and you've chosen not to move forward with the school board election, or a budget vote, your opportunity to plan, to make real sense of those 3- and 5-year plans that we have. You can really make the 5-year technology plan, the 5-year curriculum plan, the 3-year PD plan. You can really put dollars in there that are meaningful, which I think is the most significant change in this in the years that I've been doing this, because it's a coalescing of a bunch of different laws that are coming together. But you really can sit down and plan for a budget. And again, not to be overly cynical about it, but if you have a board that you have a support for, okay, and you're not running to an election anymore, do you care if it's unanimous vote anymore? Absolutely not. You want to make sure you have a majority. Right? So my planning has gone, I have 9 board members. I only care about 5. Right? I only care about 5. Because if I have 5 votes, you can kind of do whatever it is that you need to do. Now, that's at the lowest level of consensus. I strive for the highest level of consensus. I strive for a 9-0. I strive to make sure that everybody's on the same page that can support our spending plans, our implementation strategies, and when they're in the shop right and they get stopped in the dairy aisle and somebody says, why are you doing this? They can give the 1 or 2 line answer that prevents them from having a fight in the dairy aisle and shopping. That's where I always get stopped. I go shopping, that's where I get stopped in the dairy aisle. For some reason, it's always there. I gotta become lactose intolerant, not go there anymore. Just, blah, 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 you need a calendar, data collection, outcome of data collection. I'm not going to spend crazy time. So what time do we have to go to, boss?
You got about 7 to 8 minutes.
Okay, cool. Areas of budget, blah, blah, blah. Educational initiatives, this is what I was talking about with planning. I want to give you 2 other examples of financial issues that are hotbeds. And depending on how you approach this, it's either a hotbed that's a positive for you or a hotbed that's a negative. And the area that I'm talking about is outsourcing. Outsourcing is a topic that's going to come, and you're going to have to confront it. And it used to be a discussion that really only centered in the custodial and the maintenance area, and food service. Those are the two areas that you dealt with, you know? And people used to go, well, who cares about the cold chicken nuggets as long as there's cold chicken nuggets? So whether it was your local people that provided it or a service that provided it, who cares as long as it was being made? Well, I'll tell you what, I used to care. I loved having my own food service because whenever I had to find out if a kid was having a real problem, you know who I talked to? The lunch ladies. The lunch ladies knew everybody's business. They knew which kid was having troubles, which kid was in financial troubles, which kid was in the other stuff. And when I look now, and because I have a service, I look for the teachers when we say, who's going to cover lunch? And the teachers that go like this, I will. I will go over to them and say, how's Johnny doing? What's Johnny doing? Because the people that are in the lunchroom, they get all the stuff. They get all the dirt, if you will. So I never used to like to outsource it, but it became a reality. So when you're outsourcing, there are things that you need to consider as you go through it. But the biggest thing you need to consider is the politics of it. Because you have some districts now in Bergen County that have outsourced not only food service, not even custodial, but secretarial and aides. And there's a couple of districts that did it a couple of years ago, and you heard a peep, not a peep about it. But you know what happened this year? Englewood. And everybody's fighting the Englewood thing, right? Everybody's out there screaming about Englewood. Did they handle the situation properly? I don't know. Did they make some missteps along the way? I don't know if they did or not. But I do know that there are some districts, and this is one of them that I looked at, that did an outsourcing for their secretarial and their aides. Not a peep. Not a peep went through the process. So again, you got to play your issues. This is, you know, one of the examples, and probably perhaps one of the most key issues that you have to do is this, determine this piece is in here. How much are you saving? Because somebody's going to ask you, is it worth it? Is it worth that savings of that money for the fight that you're going to take? I don't know. But you need to be able to determine here if this is a one-time deal or if it's an annual savings that you're getting. That's a key issue. If it's a one-time deal or if it's an annual key issue. Because remember, to give you an example, you have a teacher that retires, you don't replace them. When do you save that money forever? No. You save it once. You save it once, and that's in the next budget. After that, any savings that you attribute to that is illusory. Because cash you saved that cash, and now it's gone. Your new base doesn't include that cash anymore. So that's not what you need to do is make a determination between one-time savings and recurring savings. Important issue along the way. This is the same district. These are the two districts that I talked about with, this is the one that didn't have a peep. No peep. And I'm not going to tell you who it is because then there'll be a peep. Second question. Pardon?
We're just trying to figure out.
Okay. Second questions are still available to you, and that is under the new election law, even